This week's episode of Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by Start New Company. Register your company immediately today with ASIC. ABN, TFN, GST registration is also available directly from the portal. Also set up your family trust and self-managed superannuation fund and more. All at startnewcompany.com.au. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/startnewco and keep an eye out for our regular specials. Start your new company now within 10 minutes of lodgement. All legal company documentation provided after registration. Startnewcompany.com.au. And also brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. All our servers are operating on SSD drives, immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration and more. Easy install WordPress, Joomla, Drupal and 300 other one-click installations. Generous space and bandwidth, auto backups, WordPress help and maintenance plans are also available on Contact. If your web page is important for your business or your life, contact us today. Aussie support, secure services, athwebhosting.com.au. And now for the show.
Welcome to episode 712 of the Aussie Tech Heads, recorded on the 11th of February 2021. I'm your host, Jason Oakley, and this is my co-host, Will Tompkinson. Hey, Will.
Hey, mate.
We won't go back to that wide shot because you can see a bit of my bed.
It was fine in rehearsals.
How's things going up in God's Zone?
Yeah, I mean, apart from the fact I haven't been able to talk for like 3 days, it's been fine.
Oh, what's going on there?
I don't know, just been lucky, I guess. Must be COVID.
Larry Magitis.
Yeah, Larry COVID. Yeah, no, it's just one of those things. My boy had it as well. He got sent home from school. Well, we went. See, the problem is we made a mistake and tried to have some time off and enjoy ourselves on the weekend. See, that's what caused it all. And
you won't learn.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so Monday, after Bubba had been in school for a couple of hours, they called us and said, "Hey, can you come and get him? He's got a runny nose." Like, seriously? I used to be half to half dead before they'd let me go home.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went and got him, and then Monday night, I had a massive headache and sore muscles and sore neck. I'm like, I know what this means. Woke up Tuesday morning, no voice.
No voice.
Yeah, so it's just a flu, and then I got slightly better. So I'll probably be slightly less ranty tonight.
Which is probably part of the reason why we didn't manage to do a show the other night.
Well, partly I wasn't feeling well.
Can't do it. I thought you were going to probably get back late and you'd be buggered anyway, and I couldn't be bothered. But also, if you can't talk.
Yeah, we got back fairly reasonably. Actually, it wasn't too bad. They booted us out at 9:30 was checkout, so we were going to be back by like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, same.
But we shall rectify that this weekend.
I was having fun with Valhelsia 3 Minecraft mod pack. A lot of fun.
It is good fun.
My daughter's got a server on it now too, and they're all having great time on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I've just found out, don't do anything with chisel and bits or your server will crash.
Oh yeah, it's very, very memory intensive.
And they can't take it out because it'll break other people's stuff, so... Oh, well.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you got to... It's like anything, though. Anything that causes a huge amount of updates all the time is always not great. Yeah. So.
Other than that, been to Specsavers, got me new glosses.
You still ugly, so they're not working.
These ones... These ones are multifocals. So now I can pick up a book and read it like this without having to lift my glasses off and then like that. I'm finding I need stuff for the distance, but up close I can read tiny writing. It's just in the distance I have the problem. So I go to this game board night on Friday nights and I'm get a handful of cards and I'm like, what does that say? Okay, what's it got on the board? What's this say? It's just annoying. So these are really good. They're called super digital ones, which cost an arm and a leg.
They're the compressed.
But
lenses.
well, what happens is normally with multifocals, the center half of the glasses has got your focusing stuff, and the outer edges don't have anything, so it's all fuzzy.
Yeah.
Then you can get the next upgrade, which means 2/3 of it is graded from the top down to the bottom, multifocal.
Yeah.
But the outer third is still, and now the super digital is for people who do computer stuff a lot and have monitors around and reading stuff like that. And it's just a tiny little bit down the bottom here that'll be blurry, and the rest of it is really good. So I was like, yeah, I'll go with that. And yeah, they're fantastic. I can see all the monitors. I've driven with them. They said, oh, don't put them on straight away. Just try them out.
Get used to them.
Then put them away, go home and put them on. That way you're not driving around and your eyes go funny and you can't cope or something, because a lot of people have trouble adjusting to them, apparently.
So to apologise for people listening to the podcast, you probably just had a big crackle then. Apparently I've got a crackly pot. I just adjusted...
drugs are bad, okay?
I just adjusted Warlock's volume and the entire speaker's just crackled, so I must have a bit of dirt in that pot. I have to clean that out.
Might be a bit deaf now.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing I'm going to try and avoid doing, and I make no promises I'm going to do, try and avoid coughing into the microphone, but you know,
no rant.
no promises there, because I don't have any warning. When I need to cough, it just comes out.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm waiting on, I ended up buying that Raspberry Pi, is it W or Zero, that you can plug into the Denise chip of your Amiga, and it'll output HDMI for your Amiga. So I bought that from the guy, and I think he's in Germany, so I should see it before the end of the year, fingers crossed.
Actually, it's probably quicker than getting post across the country.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting stuff from China. We can get, like, if I order like solar panels and regulators and stuff, I can have it in 3 days.
Yeah. You order it from Sydney in a week or two.
I'm literally still waiting on freight that we ordered before Christmas.
Jeez.
From Melbourne.
Customers are like, is my thing in? You ordered it before Christmas, right? Yes.
Somewhere between Melbourne and Brisbane at this point, yeah.
Jeez.
It's horrendous. So,
yeah, and I think I've mentioned before, I ordered something from Melbourne, and then a week later ordered something from the UK, and the thing came from the UK in 3 weeks, and then another week after that I got it from Melbourne. So it's 5 weeks from Melbourne or 3 from the UK.
I know, it's dumb. Absolutely dumb.
I haven't done much with my Amiga or Commodore 64 for a while. Been doing a lot of Minecrafting and killing zombies and stuff all the time, so keeping busy and going to the gym in the morning.
Yeah, it's funny since, well, this week's been a bit different, but you're getting in a whole new routine now. The bub started school, so getting up and getting all that organised and his stuff and dropping him off at school.
All right?
And, oh, he loves it. It's the best thing in the world. I mean, it's to the point now, like, he catches a bus. Of an afternoon, we were picking them up, but we found a long daycare centre. So he'll actually, keep in mind he's in prep, he's 5 years old. And after school, he'll wait there and then jump on the bus, and the bus will take him to long daycare, and he spends the next hour or so there before we pick him up. So he thinks it's the best thing in the world. I haven't told him he's got another 12 years of that yet, but
its own freedom.
So yes, but it's all fun and games.
Too far for the Treadly Deadly?
The school's actually not too bad. Once he gets a bit older, he could probably ride. Yeah, I rode a lot further than that to school.
Yep. Same. So I rode to school nearly every day at primary school, but not high school, because it was an hour on the bus to get there. So.
The dumb part about my high school was I could have rode there quicker because of the way the bus worked.
Yeah.
Like, to go to high school, I used to get on the bus at 6:30, and I'd be at school at 5 to 9.
Wow.
I could have actually, and I had done it in previous occasions, I could actually ride to school in 45 minutes.
Yep. I probably could have. I've ridden out that far, but
it's just
don't really want to that time morning. I'm not that motivated.
The way the bus route worked, it was just so convoluted. I changed buses about 5 times. It was absolutely stupid.
We had the one bus, but it did the whole of town before it ended up out at my school. So, yep. Although there's one good thing is that when it stopped here, which is literally up the road because I just lived down from where I grew up, if I missed the bus, he would go down, up around this big hill and then come down here. And while he's doing that big loop, I could sprint down to the bottom of the hill on the other end and be there before he came back down again. So that happened a few times. Like, damn, there goes the bus. Go running down the hill, and he probably see me in the mirror. Go, yep, he can run or miss. Too late now. I'm not going to wait for him. So he goes up the hill. I go that way, go up a couple of blocks, and there he comes back down again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, our school had this stupid thing that you could only get off on the bus on the side of the road that you lived on.
Oh, okay.
So I had to wait for doing it entire loop halfway around the city before I could get off because I had to come back down the street again. So dumb.
Mine wasn't too bad. It just stopped down the road from Mum and Dad's, but it never got near their house. It was a block away, so it was never going to drop. Yeah, well, there were a couple of times when it was real wild and woolly and very rainy, and he knew because he lived just around the corner from where I did. So he just went around that little loop and dropped me off there a couple of times. Then one time I left my bag on the bus and he just took it to his house. So we went over there and picked it up from him, which was nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Other than that, one time he threw one of my bags up a tree, but
yeah,
they piss off the bus driver.
You take the good with the bad, don't you?
If you're good, they don't do that. If you're naughty, well, it's your own fault, isn't it?
That's it.
Oh, so have any news about what Glenn's been up to lately, or same old?
I think he's been sleeping and, taking wonder pills or something. I don't know what he's.
Should we do some news then?
I was going to say they did the show a couple of weeks ago, so he must be nearly due again.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a Jew.
Very Jewish.
You want to talk about this?
I can. I actually have something else too with that. So yes, of course you can if you wish to show your appreciation in that special kind of touchy-feely way that only certain people can appreciate. I'm open to all suggestions. You can get us on Patreon, of course. Patreon / Aussie Tech Heads. That's our main one. We have quite a few people on there now. A lot of people are choosing to remain anonymous, which is fine. You don't have to, we don't have to read you out. That's fine. It's up to you. You can also give us money on PayPal if that's an option, or bank direct transfer if some people don't use PayPal, or on Kofi, coffee, whatever it is, ko-fi.com/AussieTechHeads. You can buy us a coffee on there. Of course, we've got the usual suspects. We've got Kate and Bouncing Out of Skull, and Daniel and Amanda, and David Bird, and Chris, and of course on
Andrew
Kofi
G.
we've got Andrew G. Now I did ask for, and I have received some feedback and a couple of questions.
You already gave everybody a bit of feedback right in their ears a few minutes ago.
I'll give you some feedback. So a couple of people have asked. I've got, I think, actually somebody posted on our wall. I'll see if I can find that while I'm talking. But a couple of people have asked if we can make the Patreon show into a RSS link for a podcast client. So they can listen to the audio side of it. Now, making it audio is not a problem. That's easy. The problem comes with making a private RSS feed. It was Chris actually asked the question. And up until recently, the answer was no. There was no way of, without paying a ridiculous amount of money for it, there was no way of privatising an RSS feed to the point where it wasn't searched publicly and you couldn't access it. Patreon have had a system in place for a while where you've been able to do it, but it's only been America only. They've only just, within like 1 or 2 weeks ago, released it to be worldwide.
Wow.
So, yes, hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll get all that set up, and there will be a way that you'll be able to have a feed. It'll be linked to... It links via the Patreon page somehow, and you've got to be like logged in on the browser on your phone or on the computer for it to let you in. But once it recognises that you're a Patreon, that link is active and it will work like a normal podcast link. But I'll get some more information on that once it becomes available. Also had somebody say they didn't understand the start of the show. You know, the whole spraying thing.
We've never mentioned that before.
Like,
I see. I thought you were talking about.
no, we get lots of people. We get lots of people mentioning that. No, it's,
you know what Roundup is?
Aussie
chemical
Tech
worldwide.
Roundup. Roundup is a thing that you spray, and that's
on your weeds.
Only the Patrons are going to understand this because they're the ones who have seen the video. But that's the whole. It's Aussie Tech Roundup, and the Roundup is the spraying. The Roundup is the ATR.
We're rounding up the news.
See, it works. And somebody else
round up the weekend.
And somebody else said they didn't like the outro. I said, well, if you don't like that, you wait for next week.
Yep. You're not doing Spectrum one, are you?
There
How
was, yes,
dare you,
it would have been on Spectrum. It would have been on most consoles, actually. It was, for those who are interested, it will be I think it's the first or one of the very first arcade games ever released. So, yeah.
Pong.
Ping pong. Actually, did Pong even have sound? I mean, I know it had sound in the game, but did it actually have an actual, like, intro and outro sound?
I think you just turned it on and Pong started.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think it had a thing. So that's going to be a rolling gag. So you'll need to watch every episode to understand that.
Yeah. And you have to subscribe to watch the episode. By the way, which you can do at patreon.com/AussieTechHeads right now.
And if
do it. We'll just wait here for the next 5 minutes and not say anything, so you've got plenty of time to do it.
Like we can wait 5 minutes without saying anything.
The time starts now. How about some news, Mr. T? Hundreds of thousands of Australians are set to receive free or subsidised full fibre internet upgrades in the coming years. But that's not stopped tens of thousands of Australians yearning for fast internet from asking NBN Co how much an immediate upgrade cost, including 8,000 in the past week alone. About 1.5 million Australians have full fibre internet. This one.
Shut up. Shut up.
And 6.5 million others have NBN access through part fibre links, repurposed old cables, wireless or satellite. Thank you, Liberals.
Was that basically the rest of it?
Yeah. Just our special ones.
Yeah.
Stuff. Most Australians get by without full fibre, but an upgrade may be desirable for people who are far from NBN infrastructure or run a home business. Workers have already been extending fibre along some streets in these communities, but it's still not clear what residents will have to do in order to receive a free installation. In a statement, NBN Co said the company was considering different ways to help ensure this program earns a reasonable rate of return. They said options under consideration include a modification fee if a customer had received a free upgrade, later downgraded their plan, term contracts, high-speed plans, one-off installation charge, or commercial incentives applied to retailers. No decision will be made until after another round of consultation starts in March. On Wednesday morning, NBN Co announced the second set of 100,000 homes in line for upgrades, including areas in Girraween, Kingsley and Wanneroo, Canning Vale, Jandakot South, all in Western Australia, Elizabeth, Gepps Cross, Salisbury and Golden Grove in South Australia, Deer Park and Sydenham, Berwick South, Cranbourne and Narrawarren in Victoria, and Campbelltown, Elderslie, Narellan, Maitland, Singleton, Tarot, New Lambton, Bathurst, Orange, New South Wales, and Albany Creek, Ashgrove, Bald Hills, Ferny Hills, Townsville, Robina.
There you go, Glenn, no excuse now.
And Burleigh Heads in Queensland.
Although, didn't he finally get 10 meg or something there now?
I don't know anymore. We just know his computer is a Dorito chip as the CPU and not anything good.
His potato webcam.
Now, Glenn will be happy to know that I'm pretty sure fiber is waterproof.
Yeah. Yes, it works underwater.
His only issue is it may go floating down the river if he gets flooded again.
His computer may not work underwater, but the fiber will.
Yeah, that's the main thing, right?
So it's good, and the speeds average speeds vary between 50 to 100, 150, depending on where you are. The average apparently is about 80 odd meg, which is fine.
We're still like the 26th in the top 100 worldwide countries on internet speed.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's actually the thing. Like, it's reasonable speed. It's between 20 and 40 millisecond ping, which, unless you're playing super time sensitive games like Call of Duty or something like that, that's fine. And realistically, you're going to get that everywhere anyway, just because most of the servers are on the side of the country.
Yep.
Yeah, it is $100 a month, and it's a $400 initial setup fee to buy the satellite dish and everything like that. But the neat part about it is it's portable. So if you've got a business or you've got a caravan or you just like to travel, you don't need to worry about it. Like, if at the moment, if you're using Telstra, or whoever 4G for internet and you're traveling around, you've got to stop somewhere where you can get it.
Yeah.
I
get when I go to Port Macquarie, I get a text to my phone automatically sent from Telstra saying you are no longer in a 4G area and 4G phone calls are not enabled on this phone.
Fair enough.
That's a major tourist area. It's north of here.
Yeah.
My little town. 4G's fine.
I get perfectly good 4G now. With my Xiaomi, I do. I didn't when I had the Samsung.
No.
With my Xiaomi, yeah. I do. But yeah, and the neat part is that because it is a satellite dish, so the one downside is you probably couldn't use it while you're actually traveling. Like, you wouldn't be able to have it active while you're traveling from one place to another. But as soon as you get to where you're going, the dish is set up in such a way that it automatically knows the closest satellite to point at, and as soon as you set it up, it'll automatically do the tracking thing and track itself to where it's got to go. So, I mean, it really does. $100 sounds like a lot, but I know people that are paying that much or more for current satellite, and it's garbage.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, being available in Australia, I mean, it's another nail in the coffin for NBN, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I had this, for example, I'm with Aussie Broadband, so I wouldn't change in a hurry, but for example, I could set that up at home when I'm at home for 12 hours a day, and then when I was at work, I could take it and set it up at work. So realistically, I could have one internet connection or one internet device, and I can have multiple locations. So I don't need to have internet at work of a night when I'm not there, and I don't need to have internet at home of a day when I'm not here. So I can take it with me and have it in two places at once.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea. Speaking of all that is Elon.
What's he done now?
The US electric vehicle maker Tesla has bought $1.5 billion worth of bitcoins.
Whoa.
And it said it will accept bitcoins as an official form of payment for its cars.
That's all right.
So that's pretty cool. Like, they're using it as legitimate currency now. The announcement pushed Bitcoin to an all-time high of 48,000 on Tuesday morning, which means it would only take about 0.02 of the cryptocurrency to buy an entry-level Tesla.
In Australia, one Bitcoin equals $59,876.70 right now.
And I think the base Tesla in Australia is about 60. So, yeah, one Bitcoin will get you a Tesla now. Tesla announced $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin investment early Monday in a regulatory filing with the US Securities and Exchange Commission as part of its annual earnings report. In the report, it said its board approved an updated investment policy in January to provide more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash. Excuse me. It's not required to maintain adequate operating liquidity. The company had $19.38 billion in cash and cash equivalents on hand at the end of 2020. Remember this company that was completely broke and struggling to even keep their doors open?
Yeah.
What was that, 10 years ago?
Yep.
Just had 20 billion in cash behind the lounge.
Buy some Bitcoin.
You know.
That was like Amazon when it was starting out was always in the negative. And everyone was laughing at him, Jeff Bezos, going, "You're an idiot. Your bookstore is not doing any good. You're hemorrhaging money all the time. Your investors are giving up on you. And now he's the world's richest man."
Yep.
Stick with it.
Tesla said it subsequently had invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin since January and might acquire and hold digital assets from time to time in the long term. Might also invest in alternative reserve assets, including gold and other digital assets, according to the filing. Moreover, Tesla said it expects to begin accepting Bitcoins as a form of payment for our products in the near future without specifying how crypto-based transactions will work. But anyway, the company said the Bitcoin payment will initially be on a limited basis, and the company may or may not liquidate the cryptocurrencies upon receipt. In the filing, Tesla warns users Bitcoins might pose a risk to the company's financials, as cryptocurrencies have been in the past and may continue to be highly volatile. Yeah, they're only going to go up if companies like Tesla and then say, I don't know, let's say Apple buys it. Well, their value is only going to increase because suddenly they're actually usable currencies.
I got $14.92 worth of Bitcoin.
It'd be more impressive if you had 14 Bitcoins.
Well, my engine's doing all right. It's over triple the price I paid for it.
No, that's not too bad.
Going to keep going up.
Elon Musk has
won't mention XRP because Glenn will cry.
Elon Musk has been an outspoken supporter of crypto, including Bitcoin. In January, he added the hashtag Bitcoin to his Twitter bio, which briefly pushed up the widely held crypto price as much as 20%. Musk later said that via an audio-based social media app, Clubhouse, that he regretted moving the price. 2 days later, he regretted not investing in cryptocurrency sooner. So that goes on, talks about that, but it's I don't see it being. I mean, it can't go down really now. It's kind of now that it has almost a physical form now. Like let's say it becomes one Bitcoin for one Tesla. You know what I mean? Like it sort of becomes something you can physically visualize and you can understand the worth of that, you know.
How much money have you got? Or about 10 Teslas worth?
Yeah, you know, it becomes it really does. It becomes like something that the rich people are going to buy now, and they're going to go, hey, I want to buy this Tesla, and I want to buy that McLaren, and I want to buy, you know, that Koenigsegg. So suddenly all these other companies are going to have to start investing in it. So it's going to become a physical asset that in the digital realm, like it still doesn't exist in the real world, but it suddenly has physical capabilities.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment you can go and you can't really buy much with Bitcoin. Realistically, the average person can't use Bitcoin generally.
Yeah.
There's a few little bits and pieces you can buy with it, but it's not something that the average consumer looks at and goes,
it's not in
this
your
is
daily
useful.
life.
Yeah, you know, whereas now
you don't walk into Battery Central and go, I want a battery, here's me Bitcoin wallet.
Well, actually, funny you should mention that. We will, once hopefully things progress the way they're supposed to, we will be getting a crypto terminal.
Sweet.
So that will actually be a real thing.
And it'll take all the coins.
Yeah, I think it takes like the top 8 or something.
Yeah, that's where you were.
But yeah, effectively it's the same thing. I mean, it becomes almost like an FPOS card now. An FPOS card you don't, or a credit card particularly, especially if it's an Amex or something like that, you don't see the value in it. But then you can purchase something with it, and suddenly that something that doesn't have value does.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same with crypto. So, but he's talking about, going in and he's saying, look, don't only support Bitcoin. He's like, you know, there's a good dozen that you know, could be backed. You know, feel free to spread the love around and back these other ones as well. So, apparently Dell Dell started accepting bitcoins recently as well, and travel site Expedia has also started.
Oh, wow.
Actually accepted them years ago. They're one of the first to actually start accepting bitcoins as a regular form of payment.
Yep.
So
Current top 5 going up today: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Cardano, and Ripple. So don't worry, Glenn, it's on its way.
I wish I had kept my Ethereum wallet. I sold it off to buy.
I had Ethereum and Litecoin.
Yeah, so do I.
Litecoin's number 8. It's doing all right.
I think I sold.
Binance Coin is doing all right. They got their own one.
Because I was mining Ethereum for a while.
Oh, okay.
For probably 6 months I was mining it. I
Yep.
ended up selling all my Ethereum off to buy Coin.
Ah,
so
that's a good choice.
So that was well invested. My 5... Oh, it's gone... What? It's gone down. My 5,400 Australia coins are now worth $6.40. Well, at the start of the show, weren't they $7?
Yeah. When you talk about it, the price is supposed to go up, not down, Mr. T.
Man.
Hyundai made a bold statement last month when it confirmed that it was in talks with Apple about a potential partnership for the Apple car. It then revised the statement to say it was working with multiple car makers on self-driving technology, but had no specifics to share. On Friday, Bloomberg reported that Hyundai and Apple had hit the brakes on their negotiations, saying that Apple was upset by Hyundai's erroneous statement last month. Hyundai and Kia Motors have now confirmed this change. New filings today from Hyundai and Kia confirm the companies are not in talks with Apple regarding Apple car production, at least talks they're willing to make public. In the filings, Hyundai and Kia Motors acknowledge that they have been talking with multiple companies about autonomous electric car development, but no decision has been made. Hyundai shares are down 8.4% following this news, while Kia shares are down 15.3%. Ultimately, regardless of the state of its talks with Kia and Hyundai, Apple appears to have a revived interest in developing a self-driving car of some sort. The project has been rumored for over 5 years, and while there have been multiple shifts in strategies, the current reporting is that Apple is planning on an Apple-branded electric car with self-driving capabilities. I don't know what it'll look like. Futuristic.
This is the problem. A lot of them are doing that whole super futuristic looking thing, and all they're doing is murdering themselves because they can't actually make that car in mass production, and it's so ugly nobody wants it anyway. What they need to do is make a car that looks like a car. Yep. Start there. Look at Tesla. I mean, I know they designed them from scratch to a degree, but at the end of the day, it just looks like a sleek European car.
Except the Cybertruck.
Well, yeah, but that's just cool. Like that doesn't, you know. But I think, like, what turned a lot of people, like the Prius, initially was a game changer in the way it looked because initially it had a really low drag coefficient, and it was a super. Designed that way for a specific reason. But then once people got used to normal looking cars like the Camry Hybrid and then BMW and the Mitsubishi Outlander, you know, they're just a normal vehicle with either EV or hybrid capabilities, and I think that's what people are expecting now, just a normal vehicle that is also an EV. So I think the whole making it look too futuristic thing really, hopefully, is a fad that's done with now.
And it look like EV from Wally.
Wally.
Or will it look like Wally, which is be the problem?
Eva. Yeah, I didn't look like Wally. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that.
He kind of had a number 5 is alive kind of look to him.
It did. It was somewhat loosely based on that. But speaking of cartoons, Disney is closing the CG studio behind Ice Age and Ferdinand.
Oh.
Blue Sky Studio will shut in April.
So no more squirrel?
Which I don't really get. But anyway, Disney is closing Blue Sky Studios under Fox. The CG animation studio produced 13 films. Ice Age franchise, Peanuts movie, Spies in Disguise. It was The company subsequently confirmed the closure. The studio attributed Disney's decision is to prevent financial. The studio attributed Disney's decision to its present financial situation. Given the current economic realities, after much consideration and evaluation, we have made the difficult decision to close filmmaking operations at Blue Sky Studios. Indeed, Disney has some financial difficulties through the coronavirus pandemic, and its third quarter earnings reported revenues of $11.8 billion, a 42% decrease. Oh, diddums! They only made $12 billion. That's sad. Most of that was a result of the disruption of the company taking a $3.5 billion hit to its parks business. At the same time, it's been able to stem some of the losses thanks to large part the growing popularity of Disney Plus. The closure will impact 450 employees, with the studio's last day slated for sometime in April. Disney said it will work with those employees to try and place them in open positions in other parts of the company. Blue Sky Studios was founded in 1987 after VIFX, Fox's visual effects company, took a majority stake in the studio. In 1997, it went on to work with movies like Alien Resurrection and Star Trek Insurrection. 1 year later, it released the animated short Bunny, which won an Academy Award. In 2002, it came out with Ice Age. And Disney picked up the studio in 2019. Great, they've had it 12 months and they've closed it. So, yeah, so that's I mean, that's what happens when everything gets rolled into one. Look, because they own, they own all the rights to Star Trek now, Star Wars. They own all the
Marvel.
Toy Story stuff, the Marvel stuff. They've got all Blue Sky stuff now. Like, they own everything. So there's no, if once the what are they going to do? Like, put open up like, Disney CGI company, or like just have Pixar, for example, and just have everything under Pixar now. Like,
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Probably will be a few mergers at least.
So it's going to be interesting. But I don't know. I think Disney as a whole needs to be completely shaken up. I think. I mean, they haven't really done any innovate. They've bought out companies that are innovating, but then they do this: they shut them down, or they sit on them and don't do anything with them.
The only good thing has been Mandalorian.
Well, yeah, that was sort of. I mean, that side of it, yeah. But I mean, in terms of like, a lot of this sort of stuff, the kids stuff, and a lot of it's just rehashing stuff that they've had. They haven't really done much. Yeah. Mandalorian, yeah, it was cool, but I don't know.
The Mando guy is going to be Joel with the Last of Us movie.
Last of Us, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. When it came out, I didn't know it was about zombies.
Oh, really?
I bought the game when I bought my PlayStation like 3 years ago or whatever. Didn't play it. Haven't played it yet because everyone was saying, "Oh, this is the most amazing game. You've got to go. That's fantastic." And then a couple of months later, I thought, "Oh, I'll check this out." Oh, it's about zombies. And then someone explained to me today, well, the zombies are kind of a side thing to a really nice friendship story kind of thing that brings people together and stuff, but they had just have zombies as a background or something. It's not a main thing of the game or something. So
because that's just what you do.
Well, I do zombies every Monday night as it is, so that's probably my limit. Yeah. Oh, actually, and I play Minecraft, and that's half zombies too. So
yeah, but they're sideways looking zombies,
and they all just want to hug.
They still haven't fixed that after how many years?
Yeah. Hyper One, a new startup from Bevan Slattery, has revealed plans to spend $1.5 billion building a private Australia-wide fibre backbone with interconnected points for new subsea cables. The massive project investment was unveiled in the early hours of Thursday, today, and is described as the largest private digital infrastructure project in Australia's history. It includes the deployment of 20,000 plus kilometres of fibre, connecting major data hubs in every capital city in every state and territory across Australia. Hyper One will also create new major interconnection points for more international undersea cables to Australia from Asia and as far as the Americas and Antarctica. International interconnections appear to have been slated for Darwin, Perth, and Sydney, according to a map on the project's website. With the current geopolitical instability in the region, there's unprecedented opportunity for Australia to become the region's leading secure and stable hub for future industries and jobs. He said that the Hyper One transmission network will be capable of carrying over 10,000 terabits per second, more traffic than every other national backbone built in Australia's history combined.
That's a lot of terrified bits.
Something good.
All those terrified bits. Poor things. What they do to deserve
terabits, rah.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm always skeptical about we're going to do. I was like, yeah, well. The NBN was going to be good once too, you know.
Yes. And for a lot of people, it's not at all anything.
I don't have a story on. I read it before. They said that this year they just paid back. Was it 1.6 billion of their $24 billion that they owe the government? And that was all done through private investors. So
Stephanie Ben Dixon, who used to do the Good Game show, now does Back Pocket. Her internet drops out all the time, and they were supposed to have NBN connected like 6 months ago, and they're just like, no, we're not going to do it now. You can stay on your crappy dial-up, or probably ADSL too, I'd say, because she does do some streaming stuff, but then it just drops out for a couple of days and can't do anything. That's just in the Blue Mountains.
Yep, doesn't surprise me.
Not that far out of Sydney.
No, not at all.
Ridiculous.
You know how we're talking about new networks or new social networks, I guess, that are starting up, whether we've got, Minds is becoming popular, or what's that one Elon told everyone to go and see? Sign up.
Remembered, was it Diaspora that was going to take on Facebook and be the new own your own data social network that never went anywhere?
Yeah, there's like MeWe and Peacock. Well, Peacock has just been picked up by WWE. And it will be the exclusive streaming for WWE for 24/7.
Wow.
Which is really interesting because they've traditionally had their own channel on, like Foxtel, or I guess some form of pay TV anyway. I don't know what it is in the States. It was Foxtel here. But yeah, so WD Network is slamming its way into Peacock. From March 18th, NBC Universal's platform will be exclusive home for WWE streaming service in the US. Wow. So that's got to be a big deal. Under a multi-year deal, Peacock Premium subscribers have access to a 24/7 WWE Network. More than 17,000 hours of on-demand pro wrestling content includes all WWE pay-per-views, starting with Fastlane on March 21st and WrestleMania up to 37, wow, on April 10th and 11th. All your in-ring shows, etc. But, I mean, okay, it's cool that WWE is signing with Peacock, but it's quite interesting that they've left pay TV exclusively to go to exclusively online streaming.
Yeah.
Peacock's also looking to get Premier Soccer League, NHL, and NASCAR exclusively, and they're looking to take down NBC.
Jeez.
That's a big call, And now you've got like The Office will stream exclusively on Peacock.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's the new episodes. They're putting them on Peacock. There's Peacock suddenly gone from this thing that nobody's heard of to suddenly just overnight getting these big shows. It's really bizarre.
Invest in Peacock, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's owned by Comcast, so obviously they've got the bandwidth to do it. Yep. But the Tokyo Olympics is going to be streamed on there. Where are we? It's also going to have... They're going to have their own set-top box too, so as well as being online, it'll be like a Foxtel deal where you'll have a thing. Mobile, obviously, all different platforms, that sort of stuff. The only thing I can't find information on is what the availability is like in Australia. I believe at this stage it's only through the website. It doesn't work. There's a PlayStation 4 launch for it, but apparently it doesnn work here. Fire TV and Roku don't work. And a lot of the current smart TVs don't have options for it at the moment. So I'm guessing it's only going to be browser. Which I think, didn't Hulu just start that way? They were only browser based initially anyway, and then they picked up the other stuff. But you've got two choices. You've got Peacock. You've got like a paid version, and then you've got a free version, ad supported. Has a less limited run of shows, but still has a lot of them, or a lot of them that would premiere one night. You've got to wait 24 hours before you can watch it.
No.
But it's paid by ads, so you don't have to pay for it. And then you can buy, like if you want to watch the Olympics, for example, you could buy the premium pack and watch the Olympics in real time, after a payment for it. But yeah, it's got Premier League matches, NFL, wildcards, Ryder Cup. So yeah, it's a lot of their. It's effectively going to be whatever's on NBC by the sounds of it. It starts at $10 a month. It starts at $5 a month, and there's the free ad one, which is a limited service. The $5 a month tier is ad based but unlimited shows. Like it's the same lineup as the $10 a month one, but you don't get ads with the $10 a month one.
Still, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's Battlestar Galactica, Saved by the Bell, Punky Brewster, all the classics as well. So
they might be relaunching Punky Brewster.
Yeah, well, this is true too.
AMBLX been talking about it for a while.
Well, they can't relaunch Saved by the Bell. Poor bugger.
Not anymore.
He was in his late 20s, wasn't he? He died of cancer. So, screech.
Telstra has renewed calls to rein in the steady march of NBN prices upwards, saying wholesale prices in the back half of this decade could eclipse current retail prices. CEO Andrew Penn told the telco's half-yearly results that NBN Co's stated goals to increase average revenue per user would only increase retailers' costs, which at some point would be passed on in the form of higher prices, unless something was to change. He said the constant threat of higher prices in the NBN business created an element of headwind on top of the headwind that Telstra has already reported over the last few years attributed to the migration to NBN. If NBN ARPUs continue to increase in line with the pricing structure, consumers will have to pay more. That's the bottom line. In fact, if you model it out to the second half of this decade and they continue to use the same structure, wholesale prices will be higher than the current retail prices. So that's obviously not sustainable. Doesn't matter how much the operators reduce their costs, something has to give. NBN Co said yesterday during its own half-year results that it would soon commence its annual pricing consultation with retailers, though it's unclear just how much change might result from it. NBN Co obviously are not committing to what's going to end up, but I hope that through that pricing consultation, we can start to see some reasonable changes that actually lead to an industry where consumers can win, so they don't have to face significant increases to access. The operators can win so they can actually make a return on capital that means they can satisfy their shareholders, and then ultimately NBN Co can win by generating free cash flow to focus on upgrading the network over the long time, he said. That pricing consultation discussion is going to be very important. I strongly encourage that to occur. Penn said his views on NBN Co's wholesale pricing were broadly well known. He has previously sought a $20 per month per user wholesale price cut. He also said at the end of the roll-up was good timing to take a harder look at NBN pricing.
But wasn't the NBN pricing based on that NBN used? Wasn't that based on Telstra's recommendations? Like, weren't they given the original consult to say, hey, what do you think we should charge this at?
Probably.
If I remember correctly. And now they're the ones saying, oh, it's too expensive.
Too much. We can't get enough customers.
Hang on a minute. Do
you want a few customers at high price or a lot of customers at a low price? Which one works best?
Well, it's not even that. It's like, but you're the one who's setting the price, and yet you're the one who's saying it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Change the price.
Why did you listen to us?
Yeah, there's something fishy going on in that whole upper echelon of NBN.
There's something fishy in the big pond.
Well, yeah, because they were blaming. I remember, I think it was last year. They were blaming Telstra, saying Telstra wasn't giving them access to the exchanges and to the lines and to the data capability that they needed. And Telstra's like, but that's not our job. You're supposed to be the NBN co. You're supposed to be creating all this infrastructure. Why are you using ours?
Yeah.
It's like, but hang on. Telstra's the one responsible for the infrastructure because that's how they got the contracts in the first place. It's okay. So who's responsible for it? Like, because when I have a problem with my internet, the NBN co will come out if it's between my router and the street. But as soon as it hits the street, it becomes Telstra's responsibility from the street to the exchange.
Ah.
So, is it Telstra or is it NBN? Because if it's like if Telstra is not releasing access to the stuff to the NBN network, then they're effectively the ones bottlenecking the system. So they're the ones who should be responsible for the price.
Sounds about right. Think it's going to happen?
My head hurts. Can we change the subject, please?
Have a couple of Panadol.
Oh dear. Shopify. There you go. Done.
And next week.
So for those who don't know, Shopify is basically a website integration that's a plugin that allows online. Well, it doesn't really allow. It allows online commerce up to the point of the purchase. It supplies the checkout. Then obviously how it gets paid. There's several different ways and several different functions there. But basically puts your shop online. It can share, like if you're running Xero or Vend, it can pull the database from that and do it that way, or it can be completely standalone. But Shopify has just updated its services now to work with Facebook and Instagram. Oh. So Facebook has had a shop-ish sort of interface for a while. That's incredibly horrible and clunky and doesn't really work, and even when it does, it still doesn't work. It's a good way to sort of put a catalog up, but if you want to actually turn that catalog into a store, it's super painful. Yeah. But hopefully now and Instagram really hasn't had that. I guess they're trying to turn Instagram into Etsy in a lot of regards, where it's an independent, little, like a farmer's market or an independent stall. Each person becomes responsible for their own products. Yeah. But the integration with Facebook is going to be good because a lot of people, myself included, have wanted to have a Facebook store, but it's just been so horrendously unusable that very, very, very few people actually have a Facebook store. They'll often have products on Facebook, but you don't buy it through Facebook. You buy it through Messenger or direct bank deposit or whatever, and don't involve Facebook. Right. But now become available as a checkout option with Facebook. So anything that you have, whether it's PayPal, credit card, direct deposit, I think Shopify also support. I have to double check. I think they support ZipPay and Afterpay as well as part of their payment methods. So it's going to be really good because it means that you can actually integrate that in there now and have a functioning Facebook store.
And just looking at the Shopify Help Center, they also support cryptocurrencies.
They do, but that's a whole nother ballpark. I've tried to get that integrated a couple of times. They support it, but it's so clunky. It doesn't real-time update. It doesn't, like, that QR code I had, for example, for Australia Coin. Yep. They don't support that. You have to put the actual wallet number in manually, and
that'd be a pain. It's a lot of stuff to type in.
You've only got to get one digit wrong, and somebody else gets the money. And they don't have the real-time integration, so you'll pay, like, if your coin fluctuates during the day, you'll only pay whatever it was at the time that they did their last update, which can be like every 6 hours.
Yeah.
So if it's a massive swing in a coin, then you could dramatically win or lose on that scenario depending on when it was done.
If someone like Elon comes across, you might need to get a mortgage on your house.
Yeah, because you made the wrong payment at the wrong time.
I bought this for $1 Bitcoin. It was worth $10. Well, now it's worth $60,000.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
What?
So I believe they are working on that from what I've understood. But last I checked, it was horrible. But yeah, so this will be good. So for people who aren't aware of, well, most people know about Instagram, but Etsy is kind of it's kind of the Instagram of the maker space. So if you're a little, you make art or you make, as I said, like you would normally say you're somebody. Yeah, jewelry. Say it's normally somebody who would go to a market and have a stall in a market.
Yeah.
It's basically a virtual version of that. So you still have your stall in the market and people still pay you, but you just don't actually have a physical market. From what I understand, they want to do something similar with Instagram. So you take your photo of your clothing or of your belts or whatever it is you're selling, and each one of those you can have a buy now option on it. So you scroll through the photos, go, oh, I like the look of that, I'll buy that, and you can buy it directly from there. So not a bad idea. I can see how it could potentially be abused very easily if people aren't aware. Because they show a McLaren and you're actually buying a model, you're going to have to be super careful about what you're actually purchasing. And vendors like that do tend to get shut down pretty quickly, but they can still make a small fortune before they get shut down. So
they need to have a escrow like eBay.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't know if the escrow is part of Shopify. But yeah, eBay has it, and a few of them have it now. AliExpress has, and
Banggood.
I don't know if Banggood does. Made in China does.
First time I saw emails about Banggood, I thought it was spam from some sex site or something.
Yeah.
Is she Banggood? Yeah.
You know why they actually named it that?
Oh.
Because when you're at an auction, the hammer comes down and bangs, and it's good because you've won. In Chinese, it's like at the fall of the hammer means you've won or something, and then they did a Google Translate, and it was like bang good. They went, oh, that'll do.
It'll do. Sounds good. And it did bang good. That's it for me. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much. That's me done. I'm done. That's it.
Thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Head Show, broadcast weekly. We can be found at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, twitter.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Also now at patreon.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Sign up for $4 a month, $10 a month, or from several other tiers. See the site for details. We now have extra episodes of Aussie Tech Heads called Aussie Tech Roundup, apparently, just for the Patreons. So sign up if you want to access those. If you're already a subscriber, you'll get an email when we upload them. If not, log on to Patreon and watch it there. Also, coffee.com/Aussie Tech Heads. It's ko-fi.com. Make a one-off donation of any size. You can email us, Glenn, Will, and Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au, and you can hear Aussie Tech Heads on aussietechradio.com, 24/7 back-to-back play of some of the best tech-related shows from around Australia and New Zealand. New shows added each Friday. See you later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.